Hi, this is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the Sprott Natural Resource Symposium, Vancouver 2014. I'm with Jordan Trimble of Skyharbour Resources. The symbol is SYH on the TSX Venture. Jordan, welcome to SNNLive.
Thank you very much for having me, Shelley.
It's good to have you. Tell us the overview of the company.
So Skyharbour Resources is a uranium exploration company focused in the Athabasca Basin of northern Saskatchewan. This is one of the best jurisdictions in the world to be exploring for uranium, developing mines, and producing uranium. Over the last year and a half, we've accumulated one of the largest land packages across the basin, all exploration projects, and yeah, we're busy at work right now in the field.
Is demand up or down for uranium in the world?
Yeah, that's you get asked that quite a bit. The demand for uranium is relatively stable. You know, you're going to continue to see a buildup of nuclear reactors in places like China, India, South America, even in places like the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. So demand is stable. The supply side of the equation is what has confused some people. There is a current supply glut, hence what you've seen in the spot price. However, that's a lot of experts and pundits are expecting that to end sometime in the next few years.
Where's the glut coming from? What area now is producing and delivering?
A lot of secondary supply that's hitting the market. The number one source has been from Japan. They shut down, they've idled all of their nuclear fleet, about 50 reactors. So that's been a big source of secondary supply down in the U.S. The DOE has been flooding the market as well. And currently you have a state of underfeeding with the uranium enrichers. That's also a source of secondary supply. So those are all, that's the current state. You know, that will not last, and when that ends, that's when you'll see, I believe, the spot price and the long-term price start moving up.
Let's talk about production, if you would.
Production right now, you look globally, the Athabasca Basin produces around 15 to 20% of uranium globally, primary mine supply. It is the richest depository of uranium in the world, safe jurisdiction. Kazakhstan's actually the largest producer, but that's awfully close to Russia. And so that's why there has been a push in the last, well, really it started in the 50s and 60s in the basin. But there has been continued exploration in the Athabasca Basin for many, many years, and the main impetus there is the high-grade nature of these deposits. It's a complete geological anomaly. You're talking rock that is valued as much as $20,000, $30,000 per ton, and when you're talking 40 to 50% uranium.
Why uranium for you?
Yeah, well, I work with a group here in Vancouver, manage a number of companies. Skyharbour, in particular, was a shell company about 2 years ago, and we were looking for projects across the resource space, not just in particular uranium projects, but the uranium space really stood out to me, as we've seen at this conference, from a value proposition, a value perspective. You've had a sector that's been absolutely decimated by a number of, call it black swan events, the most notable being Fukushima. It's created an environment where at one point you had over 500 companies, listed uranium companies on the TSX. Now you have, I believe, less than 50. So the sector itself has been really beat to a pulp, and that is where the opportunity is for investors and for companies to go out there and take advantage of these underpriced assets and stocks.
So what's your background?
My background, I'm more focused on the finance side, right? You know, I don't pretend to be a geologist. That's a key part of any company's exploration company success is the technical team. But I'd like to think we have some of the better geologists working for us. It's led by a gentleman named Rick Kazmersky, 40-plus-year veteran in the basin. In my opinion, one of the better uranium exploration geologists out there. So going back to me, I work with the the group here, and I've worked there for about 5 or 6 years now. Again, we take care of the finance, the market side of things for the company. A gentleman I work with, Jim Pettit, who I work he's the chairman of the company, work quite closely with. So yeah, so that's a bit of background on us.
So as an exploration company, who would you suspect to be going into production with, or setting up your offtake? And I guess investors always want to know what your exit strategy might be.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as you've highlighted, we are exploration focused. Our goal is to go in and make a discovery. That's the value proposition we offer for investors. And as you can see, with a number of comparable companies and notable discoveries in the basin, including the most recent Patterson Lake South discovery by Fission, and then going back to the Rough Rider deposit by Hathor, they create many hundreds of millions of dollars in value for investors, generate significant returns by making these discoveries. They're not easy to make, but that's what we're focused on. And the end game for us is to make a discovery and then sell to a company that would develop that into a mine.
You know, it's funny because sometimes the most important question is who your neighbors are. So can you name a couple?
Yeah, that's an important question for us. One of our 3 main projects is on the west side of the Athabasca Basin. We've amassed one of the largest land packages surrounding this new discovery, Patterson Lake South, and the main property there is called Preston. It's about a quarter million hectares. So if you look at on an acreage basis, we have about that and a couple other properties in the area, about 700,000 acres of ground in the vicinity of that deposit. And the thesis there for us is we believe this is going to be a district. This is the first of, we believe, a number of discoveries that are going to be made, and we're hoping to be one of the companies that makes one of these additional discoveries. Well, it happened before in the district and all around that area, so I think you're fishing in the right pond, as they say. Yeah, yeah, and as I mentioned, that's just one of the projects we have. Really, in the last 6 months, we've done a couple of deals that, in my opinion, have been transformational for the company. We started with that project, and I will note on that project we brought in 3 joint venture partners that are earning into our ground. They're funding the bulk of the exploration, so it mitigates our risk. We've carried out almost just under $4 million combined exploration, so a very aggressive program there. Very, very encouraged with what we're seeing thus far. But what it's allowed us to do is it's created a platform for us to go out and accumulate underpriced, undervalued assets elsewhere in the basin. One of which we just did a deal a couple months ago with Denison, and we acquired a project called Way Lake. And this is a property that's had about $12 or $13 million in historical exploration. It actually has a resource, NI 43-101 compliant resource of 7 million pounds near surface, expandable, open along strike and at depth. It also has a showing on another part of the project, a surface vein that returned grab samples, had grab samples that returned up to 48% U3O8, incredibly rich mineralization. So we've bolstered our portfolio of projects in the last few months, and these are all value drivers for us, for investors going forward. They increase the opportunity we have, increase the likelihood we have of making a discovery. So let me tell you, with that said, let's give the investors some more information, starting with your website. Yeah, so if you'd like to get some more information on the company, the easiest way to do it is to go to the website at www.skyharbourltd.com. All the information's on the website. You can get a hold of me. I'm very accessible. There's the emails on the website, and that's a good place to start. Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Trimble, Skyharbour Resources. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is SYH on the TSX Venture Exchange. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive. We're at the Sprott Natural Resource Symposium, Vancouver, 2014. Jordan, thanks. Thank you very much, Shelley.